Welcome! We will explain how poor wrist angles cause a slice and how to fix it by using HackMotion data and audio biofeedback. The slice is caused by open club face and an out-to-in swing path that creates a side spin on the ball. The key thing to understand is the motion pattern that causes the open club face. In a typical slicer pattern, you start with too much wrist extension at the top and an over-the-top move in transition, pulling down on the handle, which increases wrist extension further. The extra wrist extension then opens the club face relative to the club path. The player is then reacting to the open club face and tries to avoid a big push to the right by swinging out to in. This is an attempt to square the club face, but results in a big slice. Here you can see a player with HackMotion sensor set up and capturing his wrist movements real time. Let's look at the HackMotion data. The player started with 24 degrees at address and had 61 degrees extension at the top. He has added too much extension from address to the top, which has opened the club face and made it more difficult to square it before impact. The 3D model is a great way to inspect how the wrist extension changing at the top. You can do even deeper analysis by inspecting the graph view. Now let's compare it to a typical tour player's pattern. For a tour player, you can see that the player is maintaining wrist extension in the backswing. In the data, you can see in transition, typical tour players are decreasing the extension by bowing the wrist. To fix the slice, you need to learn to do the opposite of the slice pattern. You need to close the club face and hit with a more in-to-out club path. To do this, you need to flex the lead wrist. It will not only close the club face, but also shallow the club. In the graph view, this flexing motion shows up as decrease in extension. Note, if the club face is closed more, you will also have to rotate more with the body. More body rotation is good for creating a powerful swing. With HackMotion, you can learn to decrease extension by using audio biofeedback at the top. Based on a typical tour pattern, you want to have approximately the same extension at the top as at address. Set up the audio biofeedback for the range recommended in the app. Whenever you are in this range, the app will provide an audio signal. If you are out of the range, you will hear nothing. Here is a great drill to fix too much extension. It is called the motorcycle drill because it feels like you are controlling the throttle of a motorcycle. Learn to close the club face when it is too open at the top. The goal is to keep the extension stable during the backswing. In this example, the range is 14 to 29 degrees. Now get to the top and do the motorcycle drill until you hear the audio feedback turning on. Learn the feel of this position using slow rehearsals. If you are a player that has a tendency to increase extension in transition, then work on adding flexion in transition. Set the range and learn to make the motorcycle move in transition around waist high. Now make a swing with decreased extension at the top. You can see how the player managed to decrease his extension, and he can precisely track it with data. So we have explained what causes the typical slice pattern, how to understand wrist data, and set biofeedback. I hope you enjoyed the video. Start improving your club face control today.